Hello everyone, this is VJose32 back again. This is Top 10s. And I'm tired. My apologies for not having any videos yesterday, but I was tired. Just wanted to relax. And besides, I've been doing like 2 videos every day anyway. Anyways, this is, by request, Top 10 Borderless decks. It's actually Top 35. Some notable decks that did not make it include random wannabe casino decks. There's a Fiat deck, PGC, Professional Gambling Cards from Royale, and this Carnival deck. They're all just, fairly standard. Also, they make it Club Casino from Royale, plastic deck. This ESPC set, because it's just buildings on the back design. Random casino cards, such as these. This is a Be Mind Play. There's Demako, Black Winds, and there's these Black Winds. Whoops, you can see it there better. And the Askel Angel playing cards, Fake Casino, Key West Resort, Paulson, and of course Win, the signature wins, the borderless ones, not the brown ones from Tier 11. They handle like crap anyways. So those all didn't make the cut. I just figured they're all casino decks, blah blah. Who cares? And then there's this deck, a Spanish deck, because it's just obviously different than everything else. And got a weird back design. Plus, I don't know. I'll find out more once I review it in the near future. Alright. So, let's get on to the top 35. Thank goodness I removed all those decks, or else it would have been my top 50. Anyway, number 35 is actually a double. They are flourishing decks, fanning decks. This one's just an Abbott's fanning deck, and it's just, well, it's bridge size and it doesn't handle as good as it should for a fanning deck. And this one, the Dominion. It's not bad looking. It's pretty cool when you fan it. And my apologies, I'm on the wrong side of the camera than what I'm used to here. But they forgot to do the faces. And I know they say, oh, they don't want faces for flourishing, but yet they put pips on the aces and on the court cards. Everything else is blank. If you really don't want faces on your cards for flourishing purposes, then don't put anything at all on them. There's no purpose of putting indexes on there and nothing else. So anyways, that's number 35. 34, Best Made Company, famous playing cards. Kind of strange in the pips, as you can see, and the court cards even stranger. I'll review it soon again, in the near future. And definitely a borderless deck, a one-way design. Handle's nice, but it's just, I don't know, not one of my favorites. Next on the list, Carnival Ziwei. I missed this one on my top Carnival decks because I didn't think it was a Carnival deck. It doesn't say Carnival anywhere. It wasn't originally labeled as a Carnival deck, but then they decided to call it a Carnival deck. So there you go, borderless. Crazy guy on the back on the cards. And court cards, they're just all over the place. They don't really make sense. There's no rhyme or reason for them. They're just aces. There's just all sorts of stuff thrown in there for the hell of it, apparently. Mainly looks like a Sideshow Freaks deck, but whatever. This was not humongous fan of that deck. Next on the list, the Texan. This is a deck by USPC designed or sold specifically in Canada, or at least it used to be, which is funny because it's called the Texan. A very nice looking back design, I like it. However, for some reason, it's just not handling good like it used to. But it's a lovely back design, just not handling good for some reason. Maybe I should send it back as a ERT card. I don't get a replacement because they probably don't print them anymore, but whatever. Next on the list is Conjuring Arts B Smith back. Main reason, it's just not handling that good, just like that one. I won't even open it. We'll speed it up a little bit. Next on the list, Carnival Hornets. I was pretty disappointed with this one. People calling it a B deck, but it does not feel like a B deck. Stock is too thin. And this definitely does not feel like a B stock. Yet people list it in their stores as B decks and whatever. And again, there's no customization. Really, I was pretty disappointed with it myself. Next on the list, Casino Royale from the movie. Cardamundi, not bad, but not great. Cards are very standard, but they don't handle as good as they could, and you know, whatever. Not bad, but not the coolest. Next, Club 808. Kind of an interesting deck, fairly standard. Back design, however, is, you know, so-so. It just says Club 808. The only good thing about this deck is it didn't cost me anything. And probably with good reason, because I don't think a whole lot of people would have paid for it. Just because it's just not too much going on. I mean, I'm sure some people would have bought it, but I'm not even sure if I would. Next on the list, Welcome to Las Vegas B. Obviously a B deck is a good quality deck. And it is kind of cool for fanning, as you can see. Get always better. But it's a one-way design and it's just, I don't know. Cool deck for the collection, but that's about it. Next on the list, Bicycle Red Plastic Cup. Just kind of a weird deck that they came up with. That's your back design. Other than that, it's fairly standard. Kind of interesting, but not. Next, a Stranger Ultimate deck from Dan and Dave. Definitely Borderless. But it is a one-way design. And the faces, lots of art, but they're all over the place, and not the most practical for anything, just for collecting. And overpriced, in my opinion. Sure, you gotta pay a whole bunch of artists or whatever, but I don't know, it's still a deck of cards. Next on the list, continuing with Dan and Dave, Vintage Plaids. Pretty cool decks, interesting back designs, but definitely not my favorite Dan and Dave decks. Enough said. Next on the list, Penn Teller. A perfectly ordinary deck of cards. Yeah, right. It's actually, I mean, it doesn't handle the greatest. It's not USPC or anything like that. I don't even know who produced it. However, I like it. It's a cool deck. It's a stripper deck. It's a marked deck. It's got a gaff card, another built-in effect. It's pretty cool and a heck of a lot more than I expected. I just thought it'd be like a souvenir deck. Okay quality and just standard deck, but no, they actually made it into a magic deck, and it's funny and it's fun and I like it. Next is The B Erdnasium 216s. There's your back design if you can see it. The lighting's not that good. It's not a bad deck. It's very thin stock. It looks pretty cool. And vintage faces and everything else. So yeah, nice vintage court cards. Really thin stock. I'll zoom out. Whoops. Like I said, very thin stock. And interesting wood grain type back design. And vintage, I'm sure. Oh, excuse me. The next one is the B Erdnasium. B Squeezers. This one, slightly cooler back design, more of a casino type back design. And a nice stock and finish again. And the same, basically the same court cards. And jokers and everything. It's kind of cool. I like it just a little bit more than the other one. I'll quit playing with that and put it away. And we'll move along. There's a heck of a lot more to go. We're almost halfway though, I think. Next on the list, Coca-Cola deck. I reviewed this one recently. Kind of cool for fanning and everything. Standard though. I like it. Vintage. Next, Spade and Archer. Autographed by Dave Anderson of Night Court. I think it was Dave. Harry Anderson, sorry. I don't know why I'm saying Dave Anderson. Harry Anderson. And this is from a magic shop that was owned by him, and he had a bar, I believe. Just a standard deck, and some local cards, Chemical. And I know I said I wasn't going to include casino cards. It's not a casino deck anyways, but it's very similar to a casino deck. But it's kind of cool, and it did survive Hurricane Katrina, so that's kind of cool. I like that. Plus it's autographed by someone famous. Next on the list, Mothe Myth. I know what you're saying. This is a black deck. It doesn't have borders. And right, it doesn't have borders. As you can see, it's borderless. The back design is so-so. It looks like it's a work in progress almost. And the faces are just fairly standard. And the jokers, I still don't understand them. Looks like the moth blew up. And the cards, you know, they handle decently. They're not USB-C, of course. I think there was another version of this one coming out, but I haven't seen or heard anything about it in some time, so who knows. So that's that. Next, Steamboat's pretty cool, similar to Bees as you can see, and standard, but this is a Dan Day version, just the one I found, so I grabbed it. Pretty cool, and it's embossed in this one. And of course, vintage looking. Next is the Bee and the Titanium Bees. Bees, Titanium Bees, Great Mogul, which is also a bee diamondback design, as you can see. They're pretty cool, but they're a fairly standard deck. It's a good deck for poker and whatever. Sorry, this one looks like a misprint. I mean, you can see the red color is not quite matched up with the black. I guess they did that intentionally, but I don't think so. Even the colors on the bee and everything are off. But anyways, so those ones are there. Some of you might have them high on your list. A lot of people do like bees, but to me, it's mainly a poker card, you know. Not too much art going on or anything like that. Next, a Stickman. Pretty cool deck. There's your back design, your faces. Not a huge fan of the faces, but they're still interesting, very colorful, and I like the back design. Next, limited edition number 2. Pretty cool, albeit standard deck. And it's the last one in the whole series out of 10. They discontinued it. Pretty cool back design though. I like it. I haven't even looked at it in like a year, I'm guessing. It's been forever. Next, Aristocrat. I like it. They're nice cards. A nicer box than a B. And also nicer looking than the Bs, and they feel really nice. They handle nice. I like it. Aristocrat stock. These decks, this deck is just awesome. I'm liking it. So there's Aristocrat. We have a dozen more to go. Number 12. The 808. This is kind of like the original Club 808 deck from a couple of decades ago, the 90s. Pretty cool, lots of neon colors. Definitely a one-way design and borderless. Kind of cool for fanning, as you can see. Well, and the handle's pretty good considering it's, you know, kind of old, but I did buy it brand new from eBay. What I really like is the cord cards. Got lots of nice metallic, or not metallic, but lots of neon colors. It says 808 on them. Your jokers. It's a pretty cool deck. Colorful, custom. This is going back to well before Illusionist and 311 came along and started customizing decks. You got pink pips. I really like it. And I think the USPC should make this the next Club 808 deck. It'd be cool. Because it fits. It says 808, even 808. And, I mean, obviously they could change it and make it into a two-way back design. But if not, it's kind of cool the way it is. And I like the colors. I like the cord cards. They're almost Illusionist style. With the borderless and everything. Pretty cool. Well ahead of its time. That's for sure. Next, Alchemy. Interesting enough, it's Friday the 13th. And we're looking at scary looking cards. These ones, one-way design. Yeah, it's okay. Not a huge fan of it. But the faces, awesome. Completely custom. Tons of art. And just pretty cool. And they handle good and everything. The other deck, again, cool faces. This one's got like blood all over it. Back design, it's okay. It's almost a two-way back design, but it's not. And it's okay. So that's that. Next, Borderless. Kind of a cool deck from Bent Castle, not USPC. As a result, doesn't necessarily handle the greatest, but it actually does handle pretty good. It almost looks like it has borders, but to me that's not a border, that's fading. If it's not a distinct border, then I don't consider it a border. Faces are pretty cool, completely custom. They do have a new version that was on Kickstarter, and you'll probably be able to get it on the website soon if you missed out. It's definitely different than this one though, but I like it. It's a nice Celtic themed deck. Excuse me, I need to have a drink. Alright, next on the list, Zimako, or Zimako I should say. I always say Zimako. This one is a House of Blues deck. As you can see, borderless. Handle's nice. It's a traditional series deck. The Spade and Archer, I'm not sure what it is. if it's traditional or if it's alpha. Those are like their stocks or brands, if you will. Definitely off-centered in some cases, but it's pretty cool. Code cards, custom. You say House of Blues on them. And same with the 10s. Aces are kind of cool. It's a pretty sweet looking deck. And you can get this at the One Eye Jack if you're interested. That's why I got this one. And next, Blue Tune. I know it looks like it has a border, but aside from this weird double backer, it's not really, doesn't really have a border. It's got a pattern, but that doesn't really mean it has a border. Lots of blue on the court cards. You know, the standard. That's kind of cool. And they handle nice and they look nice. I like them. So I'll put that away. A few more to go. Next, Marlboro Texan. Pretty cool deck. As you can see, vintage for sure. Vintage looking. Nice thin stock. Yeah, it looks like it's a plastic coated. And it's got vintage faces. I really like that. It's pretty cool. Next is the Arcane, the black Arcane. I'm not doing the white Arcane because it's, I mean, it could be considered borderless, but it's white. And I decided not to count those ones, but you can see it is in fact borderless, unlike other black decks. And obviously it's a nice deck, handles good, so why not? Maybe I shouldn't have counted it, maybe I should, I don't know. Next on the list, Republic number 2. It handles not too badly, but it could be better. Faces are pretty interesting, as you can see. The indexes are tiny. If it wasn't for that, they'd probably make it higher on the list. If the quality was a little bit better, and if the pips and indexes weren't so tiny, definitely would have been higher on the list. But other than that, it's pretty cool. There's some code cards for you. Standard, but cool, but different. Alright, I'll go into more detail on this when I review it in the near future. Next, Pro Cardistry. I like it. This is a good fanning deck. It's funny, it's unique, it's colorful, it's got rainbows, it's it's good for people who are into pride stuff. It's a one-way design. And like I said, it's funny. You got puking unicorns. Unicorns that look like they're drunk, fighting, all sorts of stuff. It's hilarious and colorful and fun, and I like it. Number 3 on the list is Dealers. I don't think I really need to get into that. I'll try to focus a little bit. But yeah, there it is. Pretty cool deck. Handles nice. I like it. Number 2, Artifice. And this includes the original red and blue Artifice decks, and I guess the black Artifice deck, even though I'd probably rate it lower. But handles good and everything, looks good, and again, as you can see, basically borderless. Some people would say that it has a black border, but to me, it's not defined. There isn't a line. It just looks like it's faded, and like it's part of the back design. So I'm counting it. Number 1 on the list is the Polaris. Awesome looking decks. Colorful faces. Interesting pips. They're almost 3-dimensional. Code cards are cool. And the back design is awesome, and it looks awesome when you fan it. Not to mention, handles nice and everything. So, definitely my number 1. That is my top 10 for today. Top 30. I should rename the show the top 30 because that's what it ends up being most of the time. But then again, you'd probably never watch it. And it'd be impossible to do 30 of everything. But anyway, that's my top 10, top 30, whatever you want to call it. I'll have more videos for you tomorrow, and I'll see you next time.